Welcome to Circle of Hearts Radio. Journey with Grandmother Alaya as she enters her magical world of relics, sacred sites, and ancient crystal skulls. Meet with exciting trailblazer authors and individuals shifting the consciousness of humanity. Send her your questions to be answered on air on her monthly segment, Ask the Oracle. And now your host, Grandmother Alaya, in the sanctuary on the airwaves on OMTimes Radio.
Welcome to Circle of Hearts Radio on OMTimes Radio. I'm Alaya, and today I have with me Charlie, the Riverman Bergeron. We had originally scheduled Sister Jaguar, and you never know how the universe is going to work. You know, the woman, I got a note this morning, just a few hours before the show, the sister's got to cancel. She's got a stomach virus and sick as a dog. Now, knowing this beautiful, beautiful woman, I mean, she is one that doesn't give up. Any sister that can go on a canoe in the middle of the Amazon with two, like walkers, I'm going, she don't give up easy, so she's really sick. So we're going to reschedule that show. I'll let you know as soon as we can. Meanwhile, I had my panic attack and I SOS Charlie. Are you doing anything today? He's out. And, he said, we'll see. We can get back. And, of course, you see, he's here.
Here I am.
Thank heavens. But then he was telling a little bit about where he was and what he was doing. And he was talking about medicine cards. And I'm going, this is interesting. Before the sister had, notified me she was sick, I was reading up on Jaguar medicine. And I've always been connected with the panther as my, spiritual totem. And the jaguar and the panther are so similar, except the jaguar represents the sun and the panther the moon. But these animal symbols are a solitary path reclaiming power, shape-shifting, and psychic vision. And when I had told Charlie about, looking at the jaguar medicine, etc., we go, oh, this is a lesson from the universe of going with the flow, releasing old patterns, and moving ahead, because normally I would, panic. And I'm not saying I didn't panic. I'm being very honest. Of course, so it's true. And I'm going, I don't want to put a rerun on, because later on in the month I am, because it's my husband's birthday. And then I'm going, what is the universe showing me? A very challenging weekend, and this just really topped it off. But it's showing me don't give up and keep moving forward. So then I figured, well, if Charlie can't make it, I'll just ramble on. But then the lifesaver came.
No. I'm not going to take that. I'm not here to save lives. I'm just here to shift them a little bit.
Okay. So we're talking. I wanted you to get. I'm going to give a little bit of a prelude to Sister Jaguar's story, because she's an amazing lady. She was an Adrian Dominican nun, and they're called sisters. Now, I had that lesson. I was told, to differentiate between nuns and sisters. Nuns you would find, in the Catholic schools, and within the states. The sisters are usually missionary. And, I had talked to her about me wanting to be a nun, and then when we had found out her story, I'm going, I would have made it. So it's a good thing my mother said no. Otherwise I'd be face on the floor, prostrate, all the time, probably recounting my sins or errors. And she's an amazing, amazing woman. In her journey, if you get a chance to look at her book prior to when I get to bring it back, I really, it's an amazing journey for a woman. You think nuns, or anybody in a religious fever or fervor, or path, their heart is on fire, with devotion to, source and to work in this. And this wasn't her case. She came through a very, very difficult life, and it was a soul choice. She didn't want to go into married life or whatever was expected of the woman at the time. So she made the choice to go into a religious path, and she accomplished many things. But then at some point in her life, she met somebody, Sandra Morse, who totally changed her around, took her to the Amazon at the age of 68. And that's why I said, if you watch this trailer, get the DVD, here is this woman walking with 2 canes, getting into a canoe. I can't even walk in the mall. I mean, she's got a lot of sense of presence and focus, and her life totally changed. It was a very transformative journey and very, very interesting. And, really, I just want to give you a little bit earlier background. So when she had to cancel, I knew something was up. And like I said, I had my initial panic attack. Like, oh no. And I contacted Charlie. And then, I'm thinking about it, and I kept on getting the words, go for it, think of the word spontaneity, transformative. And that's all what we're going through now. And just talking to Charlie a few minutes before, and I'm going to bring you on, I'm not going to ramble anymore here, was we're all integrating and we're all releasing parts of ourselves that we no longer need so we can move forward. And I think this is part of this lesson, like the jaguar, shape-shifting. From one, she's a sister, and something spiritually awakens in her, and she becomes shamanic.
Well, it's funny. I'm going to start to interject at this point because
please do.
Well, the whole formation that's taken place this morning has just been really profound, and I'm in shock even as I sit here and speak about this. But what's interesting is right now we're standing on the threshold of tomorrow being the 8/8 portal in its full intensity, and the Lion's Gate. And what is the lion? The lion is the cat energy, of which the jaguar, the puma, the panther, all of the cats, the feline shamanic energy. It's also when you started this, what was interesting was the jaguar is my major animal totem. Was the first time I did a shamanic journey. I met the jaguar who brought me to the lion. Okay, and that was an interesting journey, which I will never forget because I didn't understand any of this in my present physical embodiment. This was all new to me, and over years I get pieces and parts of it. So it's interesting when you connected with the sister and you're going to have her on. And I've totally avoided reading anything about her because I wanted to hear her. And a lot of times I do that. I want to hear the person. I want to feel and sense their energy. So this morning, which was interesting, was I went to basically a psychic fair and a psychic and wellness fair. And it was interesting. I wasn't going for the psychic part of it. I was going because my Tai Chi sensei, who was also a Reiki master, as I am, had a Reiki table there. And I said, well, here's an opportunity to support her and meet with people. So that was my intention today, was to just get out and meet people. And as you mentioned at the end, my beloved Barbara, who does not resonate with any of this, there was a table with medicine cards, and I was drawn. I said, I got to do that, but I don't have enough time. I want to do this, but I don't have enough time. And I said, well, here's the balance. The balance is that sometimes we need to surrender what we think we want in respect of those who we are journeying with. And isn't that a transforming thought? And that was one of the first words you said, transformation. And so it pointed out to me as we were leaving the area that, wow, this is amazing. Many times we have our selfish whims. We're all human. Oh, I got to stay for this one thing. And no, I was willing to surrender. I was willing to surrender to the part of me that's been transforming. So here was the Jaguar really actually speaking. And then when we talked, and you realized that everything was transpiring and that you relate with the cougar, the panther, and all of these are in shamanic work are really amazingly powerful beings of shape-shifting. And it made me think about how the moment in time we're at right now, being on the cusp of the 8/8 Lion's Gate, is really a powerful period of transformation. And that most of us have not paid a lot of attention to a lot of these moments in time where we have an opportunity to really do some amazing work without having to do the work. And that's the message that came to me. So today was basically my day out of time, really, to just release.
And we'll come back to our journey. All right, thanks, Charlie.
Conscious media for conscious minds. OMTimes. Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network.
Hi, this is Sylvia Henderson, intuitive life coach and energy healer. Are you ready to elevate and rise way above your normal? Be sure to listen to my show, Intuitive Transformations, on OMTimes Radio, Sunday evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern. Get the inspiration you need to transform your life.
What if we got rewarded for every good decision?
Dinner. Meal needs a vegetable. Check.
Amazing.
Vegetables cooked with a healthier oil instead of butter?
Fantastic.
Replacing bad fats with healthier fats, like those in canola or vegetable oil, is good for your heart. Take up the challenge for good health, because the you of the future will say,
fantastic.
Visit heart.org/face the fats. Canola Info proudly supports the American Heart Association's Face the Fats campaign.
There is no death, only a change of worlds. Chief Seattle. Deborah Livingston is an award-winning intuitive psychic medium whose international services include mediumship, spiritual assessment, animal communication, and spiritual mentoring. She is a published author and a trained shaman. Deborah provides evidential messages from spirit and departed loved ones. Learn more at deblivemedium.com. That's DEBLIV medium.com.
Welcome back with Charlie and myself, exploring the world, or the words of shamanic journeying. I know as in the past, actually months, I think on social media you can see people are really starting to connect with Mother Earth and the life forms on it. It's no longer humans rule the world. No, we're starting to understand our the connection and the cooperation of the animal world and the plant world and the water consciousness, crystal consciousness stuff. It is no longer totally focused on I, human being. And Sister Jaguar, I mean, she's not here, but she triggered something today, big time. And she's showing us the world of the shaman journey of transformation. And this isn't isolated just to a few of us. I think everyone who's listening has a shamanic journey. It's an integration of all parts of yourself. Some people are connecting to the dragon energy, hint, and they know who they are. And some to animal totems. And I think we're seeing the world in different eyes. And this is what Sister Jaguar's journey is about, a transformation from the dualistic world that she knew into the world of Mother Earth and all its surroundings and how to relate to it. So Charlie and I were just talking about shamanic journey, and this, like I said, I think everybody has an aspect of this. So maybe it's time that we look out through the eyes of the shaman. What do you think, Charlie?
Well, yeah, that statement, I just wrote it down, seeing the world through different eyes. That is the journey of the shaman. And at least for me as a shaman, and I don't usually say that I'm a shaman, but I will say it during this show only for the sake of clarity to define between some other spiritual notes and things that I do, rather than dealing with what I call the natural order of wisdom keeping for humanity that was originated in our first foot races when we were here, and we were one with all of nature, and we could understand and communicate with parts of the earth that we've now lost connection to, and we've become so destructive to that the results are playing out around us. And I think this is the clarion call for all of us to see things differently.
And to teach our children. This is part of Sister Jaguar journey. You know, as a nun, she found very innovative ways of bringing the children into not just textbooks or whatever, but really reach out and get them connected back to the earth. Now, she no recollection of any prior lives. I mean, that was not her mindset. This is just something inside of her, I think, a shamanic feeling. And then to have that spiritual awakening. Okay, she met Sandra Morse, and Sandra took her to the Amazon. Now, really, there has to be a spiritual awakening. It has to be a soul contract there, because who in their right mind would go from nun to shaman. I mean, go, to the Amazon, on these boats. I mean, I give her so much credit. I've done a lot of things in life, but I'd probably fall over and they'd be dragging me out of the Amazon.
Well, it's funny that you say that, because I'm visioning both worlds at the same time, and I'm seeing the total contrast between the two. Yet on a spiritual level, in order to be a sister or a nun or any spiritual organization, whether it be religious or pagan or otherwise, you have to have this ability to be able to communicate with the unseen. And so when you say that, there's the connection. It's just that in one world, it's shaped as a church or a religion based around a belief system, and yet in the shamanic world, it's also based around that, but it has a totally different form to it.
Yeah, connected here to earth, heaven to earth is the shamanic.
This is it. The earth is the church. The nature is the religion. So when what happens is, and I don't want to sound negative, but and I'm not trying to be, but as the destruction of nature becomes even more powerful right now with the things that are happening, and I'm not going to name them because I don't want to give them energy. We all know what they are, but as that happens, what it does for us is it returns us to our shamanic nature, that this is not a foreign nature. This is not something that's woo-woo or crazy. This is our natural ability, and we've always had this ability. The difference is that many, many thousands of years ago, some chose to carry on the shamanic tradition, and others decided they were going to be farmers, and others decided they were going to be teachers, and others decided they were going to do some other aspect of this. So we've lost our connection to it. And I see what's happening right now is this window of transformation that we're going through cosmically, the whole planet, the universe, everything, the alignments, moving into new spaces that planet Earth has never, ever been before, is opening up all of this within each of us, because as without, so within. And so there is no separation. And when we say that, on the surface, we look at it, well, I'm black, you're white, you're green, you're blue, I'm tall, you're... We look at that as separation. But when I talk of separation, I mean separation within us as one living part of something far greater than we can ever imagine. So people like Sister Jaguar are those who were called to explore that, and then to shift and change, and then to live that and bring that back to us, just like many of us. And you and I sitting here having this conversation today, out of nowhere, this was on nobody's agenda, is all part of that. And when you say Sister Jaguar is involved in this, yes, she is. Because at that level, we are all connected, and we heard the call, and we showed up.
Yeah, I think, that's so true. Because, like you said, on some level, I think this message had to come out. Didn't expect it to come out, but it had to come out. Because we're, when Charlie had says about, look at all the destruction, we're aware of it, but we're also realizing anytime something is deconstructed is so that something new can move in.
Yes.
It's that shift, and I know we constantly talk about it, and the ideas of choices. Isn't that a favorite word of mine?
It's the number one word of the year. Yes.
But it really is so true, because sometimes you have to get rattled to make a different choice. You have to say, okay, am I going to go back into the old ways, or do I want to move forward? And it's that metamorphosis. I mean, and when we say shape shifter, I know that's a shamanic term, but it's saying moving from one to another. It's movement, energy, and movement, moving forward. And just meeting her and having okay, we're going to have her, and it didn't happen, and, you know, the rattled, and it's like, oh my God, do I go back to, let me put on, you know, something on and avoid the situation, or putting my SOS to Charlie? What can we do with this? And the universe pretty much had a plan. We're just players here. But I think it needs to be recognized wherever you are in the world. You have the shamanic heart. Look around your world. Look how you change. Look how all that's happening. Realize all of a sudden you're seeing, hey, I'm part of this earth. I'm not living on it. I'm part of it. And everything around me is part of the earth. You know, we're all mingling together, and that's the shamanic heart.
Right, and you know, as we look at the word jaguar, or you know, most of us think of that as a wild animal in the world today. We're not thinking of it as the representation of what energy is actually playing out right now. Jaguar energy, if it's misused, okay, creates manipulation, harm, intimidation. It can be violent. I mean, this is what we're seeing playing out in the world. So when we talk of jaguar energy and jaguar medicine, you and I align with it on one level, but the misuse of it and the destruction of planet Earth is part of that jaguar energy. It's a very powerful force, and so it's doing that in order to make us take another look and say, this is not something we can tolerate.
No, and to make the choice within ourselves, an inner shaman, to look at things differently.
Right, and that's where the shape-shifting begins. It's not a shape as far as form. You know, many people think of shape-shifting, which can be done in the physical, but you morph. It's basically transmorphing into something else. But basically, it's just change. It's change, and so we're looking at transformation of consciousness and awareness, and so it's very powerful.
And we'll continue.
The Real Conscious Connection. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM. Have you ever wondered how to change your love paradigm? The secret key is finding a love partnership, not just a regular connection. How do you find these? Through conscious relationships. Ascending Hearts Dating is a dating site for people like you that believes in second chances and a different type of spiritual connection. Try Ascending Hearts for free today at ascendinghearts.com. and change your love paradigm. Ascending Hearts, the premier dating community for the spiritually awake.
Hello! Join us, Lisa Berry and Michelle Carter, every Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time for the Mindset Makeover, What's Possible. Get ready to become present, clear, and unstuck, and start living fully, led by your heart. While you listen and feel this transformation through vibration of word, sound, and song, you'll open up to what's possible and experience your shift.
Since the day I stopped drinking, my life has gotten better and better. I can't take any credit for it. It just seems that without alcohol, I think better, I'm more careful with money, I watch what I say, I don't get into trouble like I did when I was drinking. It's scary trying to walk through life alone, and today I have that very distinct feeling that I don't ever have to be alone again. Alcoholics Anonymous. It works. Look us up. Check your phone book, newspaper, or AA.org.
Well, coming back from I zoned out here. But as I was listening to the commercial, even the AA commercial, we are presented with the person making a change within. So here before the Lionsgate, we have 1 foot in the 3D world, the world of reality, of densities, of seeing everything falling apart. And the other foot is in the new earth. And we stand here at the point and have to make a decision. What are we going to do? Again, choice. And you have that choice. And I think the word shaman came into it because we're asking to look at the new earth through different eyes. You know, appreciate that there's a tree consciousness, a plant consciousness, an animal consciousness. Today, an animal consciousness and the spirit totems of these animals have come to a definite awareness between the jaguar and the panther, and even some people are finding a lot of interest of being drawn back to dragon energy, which goes through creational times. Dragon energy, fire, purification, healing. And I think this is part of the old world. You know, the dragon energy stepped in and said, okay, it's time to rattle all these illusions, and people were connecting with the dragons. You know, what's all this about? It's about purification and initiation. Now steps into the big cats, and there's many big cats. Energy of our ancestors, what they saw, and the lessons that they show us. And today's an example. Jaguar and panther came up. So it's time to start rethinking, like I said, before this big shift ahead of us. What is going to be your choice? Where are you going to stay locked into? Any ideas?
Well, the idea that has been presenting to me all morning with posts that I had, the I Ching reading, etc., have all been around the idea of holding yourself in integrity, and to understand what that means for each of us. Where and who are we in relation to each other, and how there was one article which was basically expressing that we've made contracts with people that we're not even aware of, that for some reason we expect so-and-so to do something for us, and in return we've made this unspoken contract with that person to say, well, if you do this for me, I will do this for you. And then we're now realizing that these contracts have not been upheld by the other person or by ourselves. And so there was no integrity in the contract, and there was no commitment. It was just, and it leaves us with this feeling of emptiness, or this feeling of anger or frustration. It triggers us. And so what we're doing, and I think what the jaguar energy and the energy of what's happening right now, the violence, is all part of that, is basically, as I said earlier, to show us, to give us visible, concrete, visible to our human mind, not our third eye, not our psychic sense, but to these two eyes and this brain that we carry around with us, to say, this is what's happening. This is the dark side of it. This is the contrary side, the shadow side of who we are. And the choice is, are we going to choose to stay in the shadow? Or are we going, there's all these posts about the shadow self, and coming to learn and recognize the shadow self of Trump. The reality is, what are we all talking about? We're talking about the parts of ourselves that we've buried or have been hidden, and now it's time to be revealed in light. And so integrity, carrying our integrity, is standing in light and standing up and saying, here I am present. I am present in the highest capacity that I can imagine in this moment.
I was going to say, you made an interesting point about groups, because I think there was quite a trend, and something I became aware of. I was reading about that a lot of people reincarnated in groups. Everybody wants to say, oh, we're part of the soul tribe. Yes, but that's also a soul contract made for a lesson. You get drawn together because you've reincarnated as a group. You've regathered, but then you change. Like Charlie said, some people have made, again, that beautiful word choice, to go, stay one way, and other people are saying, no, I am no longer aligned. So this is, again, another evolutionary cycle we're going through. I mean, how many of you have said, and you've also heard the word of release people, release things that no longer suit you. We come together as a group, and in the New Age world, this is a big thing, tribe. But the thing is, I think it's a safety point. We came together, and now it's our choice. Oh, I hate that word. I don't hate it. It just comes out.
It's interesting. You say the word release, and I have it in parentheses on my little piece of paper that I have stuck in my shorts pant leg and on my knee. And I write these words down as they come, and release. And, it was funny. When I lay down on the table for my Reiki session this morning, I said to Paula, I says, just release whatever you sense is blocked. And she just kind of ignored me, and she says, I'm not looking for anything. And I says, beautiful. I says, and in the meantime, I journeyed. And I don't usually talk about these things with people, but I feel comfortable today. So I actually journeyed, and I said, do you have a grandmother that was a healer? And she said, on which side? And I says, well, I think it's more ancient than grandmother. It's a great-grandmother. And she says, well, that's possible. Now, I know that's, that she has healing energy that's ancestral. And then she asked me, is it Aboriginal, or no? She said, is it indigenous, or is it Celtic? Because she, like I, are of the red-haired blood tribe. And so I said it's ancient, it's old, and I said, and I sense it's coming from Northern Europe. It could be Viking, but it's not that far north. It's Northern Europe. And here was this woman, this ancestral woman, an ancestor of Paula's, who was doing the releasing for her. And I was standing before her, and she was using smoke and sticks, branches with sticks, and sweeping and getting rid of and clearing all of these things. And so it's amazing how we all have this capacity to connect with ancestors, with animal totems, with whatever it is we need in order to release what no longer can be carried forward into the new earth. It's just profound.
Sometimes, I don't know if you do, but I know myself, when I'm feeling stuck or something, I'll go on Facebook. And then on my feed, I'll see a post. I'm going, yeah, I really need that. It's like I needed to read this so I can say, okay, I'm not going crazy, and I can let it go now. So again, that's release. As you mentioned, the forms or the tools to do it come in many, many different ways. Maybe for somebody listening out here, we're going to trigger something.
Well, it's and no matter where you go, and this is what I want to tell people and express in this segment, is no matter where you go, the messages are there in front of you. All you have to do is just get out of your focus for just a second, and you will start to see the synchronicities. The next person I spoke to after Paula was a woman who does, I can't think of what the name is, but she works with animals and children and healing them. And I got in a big discussion about dowsing with her. And so we're going to swap information. And I'm saying, so what is this all about, this clearing and cleaning? And it all went back to taking us back and restoring original blueprints of what human life really was supposed to have, how it was supposed to evolve. But because of our own intentions, we manipulated it, and we're so off track now that the only way back is to go back and to release. And this is what we're all going through. Yeah. So this is what's happening. I think for each and every one of us and most of the people who are in stress right now, just relax. Just relax and recognize the gift of being able to release that. You can release it.
Yeah, you're not stuck. I think, like I said, times are intense, and people look for answers and for people to do things for them, make them right. And unfortunately, I can talk from my own experience, that don't happen.
I hear you on that one, yeah.
So many times, I think, okay, let me find somebody, let them make it right.
Yeah.
But I've been really blessed to come across for people that make me think. And sometimes you have to look hard and deep inside yourself and say, well, I created this, so, I'm the one that's got to...
We're the one that has the final say. And that's the thing that it's a hard lesson and a hard pill to swallow, that in the end, we're the ones who make the final cut. Okay? And if we don't, then we carry it forward in some shape, manner, or form, and it will transform. But it'll be the same thing over and over again. We'll just have a different jacket on. It'll have a different face on. It'll just be in a different place. But it will be the same. And that's what I think most people can see in their lives, that the things that are difficulties right now have been repetitive.
Oh, we'll continue that thought.
Feed your soul with Waves of Consciousness on OMTimes Radio. The number one reason girls drop out of school in sub-Saharan Africa is lack of access to feminine hygiene products. The Pads for Schoolgirls Project, an outreach of Humanity Healing International, is changing this paradigm by setting up sewing programs at schools, teaching girls a vocational skill, while producing the reusable pads that help keep them attending classes. The girls pay it forward by making and giving pad kits to other girls in need. To learn more, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is.
Hello, I'm Miriam Knight of New Consciousness Review, inviting you to my new show where I interview the rising stars of the conscious awakening. We'll explore the many faces of consciousness in action and intriguing perspectives on life, the universe, and everything in between. Join us each Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern on the Rising Stars Show.
I'm Alec Baldwin with People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals. I grew up loving circuses and other traveling animal shows, but it never occurred to me what life might be like for the animals. Training wild animals to do things they don't understand takes force. Routine discipline with a hook or whip with the heel of a boot shows the animal exactly who's the boss. Don't patronize animal acts. Please contact People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals.
757-622-PETA.
Well, we're in our last segment as always, and just 2 points I want to bring in. First, Charlie, remember the lady that I had told you a few days ago? I kept on seeing short hair, light hair, white hair, with glasses and stuff, that needed healing?
Yes.
Well, guess who it just dawned on me it is?
Who is it?
Sister Jaguar. Okay, great for the message. Thanks, guys.
Am I on?
Okay, Charlie.
Am I on?
Yep, you're on.
Okay. Well, yeah, basically I was just talking about golden healer quartz. So I just recommend people, if you're having trouble with processing your negative and toxic thoughts and energies, get yourself some golden healer quartz and meditate with it, sleep with it, and use it. So I'm going to let you finish off with the last 6 minutes, but know that it's always fun.
Thanks, Charlie. Yeah, we had a little bit of Mercury retrograde going on, but we're back on the air. One point I'd like to bring up is, again, Sister Jaguar. If you caught the earlier part of the beginning of this segment, was that I had picked up on her a few days ago, and I didn't realize it was her. I'm going, this, a woman, and I described to Charlie, and I said, she's sick, she needs healing. And Charlie goes, I don't know who it is, because he was having a Reiki circle, and I couldn't figure it out. And the last 15 minutes here, I'm going, oh, is that who it was? So, before, I'm going to end up rescheduling her. But if you have a chance, please, look at Sister Jaguar's Journey, the book, the DVD. Go to Facebook. She has a page there. All proceeds go to the children of this Ecuadorian tribe there for soccer balls, for school supplies. So this is part of her journey, giving to the children. So it would be wonderful if you can get a sense of her journey before we bring her back, because when you hear her, she's so much fun and such a delight to talk to. And you'd never think she was a nun. I mean, anybody that was brought up in the Christianity or the Catholic world, nuns are these on these high pedestals, and it's like, oh my God, you can't laugh with them or talk to them or, whatever. They're very disciplined, but she has a heart of gold. And she had to travel to the Amazon, and her trigger was Sandra Morse. She pretty much dragged her onto this, journey, and the sister was able to find peace in her heart and find her connection to God. And she took that shamanic journey of the soul, in which she is now enjoying a connectiveness to all. So, again, please look into her book. It's fascinating. And everything goes to the children. And just imagine if you're able to, get this book or on Kindle or Barnes & Noble or wherever you find it, that what you offer, besides you learning of a personal journey, which you might be able to relate to yourself in your own opening up, but you're sponsoring the children there. You're giving people some things that they need. So again, that balance So, Charlie, any last messages? It's been an interesting day.
Well, that's the thing. Remember that interesting doesn't have to be painful.
Really?
It doesn't have to be painful. Just stay open. And again, this is part of the journey, is to stay open, stay alert, know that we're all seeking the path of least resistance into the future. And we have the power of choice, ultimately, in the end, that regardless of who guides us, who leads us, and how we arrive there, the final say comes from us.
That's true. And follow the ways of the shaman, at least through the eyes. Check back on your ancestors, because our bodies are composite cells or light particles of all that we've ever been. So it's within you. It's not something to put away. Well, maybe this is interesting, or how is it going to fit into my ego? I was, the Prince of Russia or something. That's not it. It's all lessons. It really is.
There you go.
Lessons we learned.
Yeah, sometimes we're just the guy who washed the cars. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're sweating.
And that's okay. Because who were we as we were the person who washed those cars?
Yeah, and how are our lives, and how do we let other people around us?
Yeah, where was our integrity? So
everybody, thank you for listening, and Charlie, thank you for going with me.
Thank you for having me. It's a joy. It's a joy to be here.
It was fun, and thank you, Mercury retrograde, for confusing me. And for Chris, Chris Buck getting us back on the air.
Yes, thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Many blessings to all. I love you.
It's the same. Bye-bye.